Hello, everyone, and welcome to Lilydale Radio. The name of the show is called Embracing Your Essence, and I am Colleen Vander Zyden, the host of your show. And as you are joining in, please do say hello so I know who's here and that all my tech is working, of course, as usual. So as you're coming in, please do say hello. Tonight we are going to be talking about your soul's path. I'll answer some of your questions. You've had some great questions the last few weeks, and I'll also do some mini soul readings. So we're going to have a fun night tonight. So before we start, let me tell you a little bit about Lilydale. Lilydale is the largest spiritualist community in the world, and we do have a summer season that is rapidly approaching. We open on June 23rd. We are open year-round, but the official season starts June 23rd, and we end the day before Labor Day. And we have an awesome summer planned this year. So many wonderful workshops and special speakers, and it's going to be very exciting. And you can find more information about Lilydale at lilydaleassembly.org. As you're looking at the website, to find out what's happening, go to the What's Happening tab, and underneath there is everything you could possibly need in terms of events, special events, main stage events, all of these things. And you can check all of that out and make sure you know what you want to come to this summer. I've been doing some lives on Sundays promoting Lilydale and what's coming, so you can find those on Lilydale Assembly Incorporated, the official Facebook page. Look under the videos tab and you'll see some of those. Particularly the first few videos I did, I talked about how Lilydale works, what you can expect, what the daily events are, and the gate fees and all of that stuff. So I'm just checking to see who is here. Hello, Julie. Nice to see you. And Cindy and Amanda and Pamela and Carrie. Yes, thank you so much for joining me today. And let's see, what else do you need to know? So we've got lilydaleassembly.org. You can find out everything there. Lilydale Assembly Incorporated. You can find out a lot there too. And then my Facebook page, Colleen Vander Zyden, medium and intuitive life coach. And that's where you want to be today if you want to ask questions or if you want to get a mini reading. And I'm doing mini soul readings tonight. So if you want those kinds of things, you need to be on my page. So if you're on Lilydale's page or in the Spiritual Growth and Support Group page, you need to come over here. That's because this is where I see the comments, is on my page. My website is colleenvanderzuyden.com or becourageouslyyou.com. Both of them work. They go to the same place, and you can find everything there. So a couple things. We've got some preseason events happening in Lilydale I do want to mention for you. One, June 10th, Teresa Schaefer is doing Reiki 1, and this is in Lilydale. And if you are interested in that, you can go to Teresa's website, teresaschaefer.com, and you can register for the Reiki 1. I am doing the Reimagine Your Life in-person retreat, June 2nd through 4th. This is going to be so much fun. I've got Greg is going to do a past life group regression, but what's really cool, not that that's not really cool, of course, but I got this amazing download from Spirit while I was in Florida a couple weeks ago with an energetic process that's going to help people release limiting beliefs, help release blocks, guilt, and heal the pain of the past. It's what is going to happen with this process. It helps people get rid of things that are blocking them from creating the life they want to live. So we're going to work on letting those things go, which will help you reveal your soul and get clarity on your path. And I've been calling it soul healing, but it's really not soul healing because the soul doesn't need to be healed. So it's really soul revealing. So maybe I'll change the name. And so we'll do the past life regression as well. We're going to work on intuition, increasing your intuition. We're going to do a life adventure board so you get clarity on your future steps to create the life you want to have. So you have that shortcut of living from your soul. So this is June 2nd through 4th in Lilydale, and you do want to go to my page to register for that. So colleenvanderzuyden.com. Right at the top of any page, you'll see the link that'll say join us or something for the Reimagine Your Life retreat, and that is June 2nd through 4th. Early bird pricing through May 2nd, which is next week. Okay, it is even though these two things they're associated Lilydale events, and it's a long description, a long explanation. That's the word I want as to why they're called that, but nonetheless, there it is, and you can come to Lilydale and hang out with either me or Teresa. So it'll be so much fun. Going back in to say hello to people and see who is here today again. Mercury in retrograde. Is it again, Linda? Hi, Cindy and Noelle, Ashley, Lisa, Carrie. Okay, and I got to go the other way. And Lynn and Kim and Julie would like a reading. I would like to get started to get out of there and live And just know, okay, does my soul want to transition? Ooh, Julie. Message me again in a couple of minutes, or chat in a couple of minutes. I'm going to talk a little bit first, not much though today, because I wanted to do more readings today. Hi, Shar, and Amy, and Deborah. Arlene and Karen, nice to see you again, sort of, kind of, even though I can't physically see you right now. And Lynn and Kathy and Lindsay, you're in Florida. Yay! I love that. And Ellen and Kia. Ooh, I like that name. I don't know if it'll be Zena, though. Is Zena here yet? I love Z names. And Jody, thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. We are going to, as I said earlier, going to be talking about your soul's path, and I'm going to do some mini readings. If you have any questions as we're going, questions about your soul and anything, feel free to ask. As if you've watched me before, you know if you ask a question and it gets my attention, I am likely to answer your question and maybe give you a reading as well. But first, I'm going to just talk just a little bit, not very long at all, because I really, as I said, wanted to get right to answering your questions and doing some mini readings. But part of the reason I wanted to talk about your soul's path tonight is that I have heard some interesting comments from people lately about the soul. And one was, my soul is aching. Another one is, my soul is lost, or somebody asked me if they could lose their soul. And as I was thinking about these, because I've been talking about the soul for a long time, and I've been kind of, I guess you would say, studying the soul and what the soul is and everything for a while, these questions caught my interest because in my perspective, our soul is perfect. Our soul is connected to the divine universal energy. So we are part of that energy through our soul. So we have this soul within us, and it's always present. Even though we might feel like it's lost or aching or something like that, it's not. It is like this light or flame or spark that never goes out. And when someone, of course, says that their soul is aching, what they're really meaning is that they're deeply hurt or they're in pain. And that is the pain, the kind of pain that goes to the depth of their being. Our soul itself is not aching, but the rest of us might be, right? Our energy, our bodies, our hearts could be aching. When we say something like our soul is lost, or can I lose my soul, what we're really saying is that we're not feeling our soul around us. We're not feeling the guidance and the inner wisdom from it. We're deeply disconnected. We might feel like we don't have access to it, and we don't know how. We can't seem to hear its messages. And, life is full of crap, right? And so some of these things in our lives, events, troubling situations, even our unaware beliefs, even sometimes what people do or say to us, right? These situations can cover up our soul and kind of bury it a little bit, where we logically or energetically just don't feel it. Okay. But here's the thing. We can set up the conditions to reconnect with our soul and get clarity on our soul's path. And we've been talking about this on and off for a while now. I went on a soul spree last year and again this year where I kept talking about the soul, and it's very important. And that's part of the reason why we started the Soul Empowerment Online community. So we could talk more about who we are and how we can live as our best selves. So our soul's purpose is to guide us, is to help us to know ourselves better, to know who we truly are at the soul level. So I'm going to pause right there for a sec because I know some questions and stuff came in, and I know people are hoping I'm going to talk to them. So let's go and check, see if I want to talk to anybody. Hi, Christine. Nice to see you. Hi, Mary. And Lindsay. See, and that's a perfect one. Where'd you go, Lindsay? There you are. My soul is tired, she says. Okay, so Lindsay. And it's not really that your soul is tired. It's like the rest of you is tired. Normally when someone says that their soul is tired, that means that they have had a lot going on in their lives. And so, Lindsay, I'm going to talk to you for a little bit here for a sec. Because what happens, as I said, things pile up on us, and it's like a bone weariness, and life has been so strange for the past however many years now, a little longer than I would have thought, at least 3, 4, 5. So life has been very strange. And remember, the energy around us is still off. We are shifting to a new vibration, so the energy is changing. So lots of stuff is happening in our lives, and so much of that, what is happening, is to give us a little push, shall we say, to connect with our soul and allow our souls to give us the strength we need, to give us the guidance that we need. So even if our lives are perfectly fine, there's nothing wrong in our lives, we may notice that we are uncomfortable, we're on high alert, things just, the energy is off. If something happens in our lives, whether small or major, that energy, those feelings are going to be amplified by all the energy that is happening around us right now because of the consciousness shift. So the energy is, I'm just going to say, way out there right now. So when we are feeling all of this piling on us, we do get tired. And it's not, again, that our soul is tired, it's the rest of us is tired. So let's just for a sec talk to Lindsay and tell Lindsay what kind of soul you have there. Because I know, Lindsay, that you are the kind of person that cares very deeply. I know that you've had quite a bit of heartache. And I know that this heartache feels as though it is overwhelming and you're never going to be able to get over it. And with this deeply caring part of your personality and this love that you have for people, you are the kind of person that really does want to be there for people, does want to help. And in some ways, it's like you've exhausted your energy. In some, just holding it together. In others, by trying to help other people as well. Now, here's a nice message for you, Lindsay, because your soul is there for you and will give you the energy. And there is a sense, a very strong sense, that you need to make sure you take some time to breathe and connect with your soul. And sometimes people will say to me, well, how do I do that? What does that mean? What is that? Because everybody's going, let me do it. I want to do it. I want to do it. And we did a little example of this a few weeks ago. And it is so simple, really. It is a matter of, and I like putting my hand on my heart area because in my mind, I feel like my soul is in my heart. Okay. And so I put my hand here on my heart. And as I do this, I set my intention that I want to connect with my soul. And when I do some deep breaths and I'm thinking about connecting with my soul, I slow down and then I can start feeling something different other than the stress, the anxiety, and the negative energy that's around me. So I do that and I just breathe a little bit. The energies of our souls will always be positive energy. They will be kindness, caring, compassion, peace, all of those things. The energies of our souls are always that. So for you, Lindsay, you want to pick something like love or caring, even integrity for you, because I know you do want to do the right thing, what is right in the most honest way. Pick one of those qualities and kind of meditate on it. As you're meditating on it, you might think to yourself, okay, I'm going to go back in time and look at the times where I was caring. And not just caring to other people, but caring to yourself as well. And start reviewing, if you will, some of those times so that you can see that your soul has been guiding you all along. Taking this time to breathe and connect to one of those qualities that you have will help you strengthen your energy now. And when we say our soul is tired, that means our energy is tired. But if we can strengthen our soul, we can strengthen that rest of our energy as well. Okay, so there's a suggestion for you that came in for you. And we'll see if I want to talk to you again later. We will see. Backtracking, because when you guys make comments, everything moves on me all of a sudden. Loving your lighthouse. Thanks. It's the Ponce Inlet Lighthouse. My soul is aching for a reading, Mary. You are so fun. I want to know how... this is Jody. I want to know how I tell the difference between a general thought and your higher intuition. Okay, let's talk about that. Then I will talk... You are so funny, Mary. Then I will talk about some ideas to help you, more ideas to help you connect with your soul. A general thought is frequently will come in with emotions. Okay, intuition, messages from your soul will come in very factually. We just had a soul empowerment community in person, live, this past weekend, and we were talking about intuition. And intuition comes in very factual, very just straightforward, like, I've got to get milk, that kind of thing. It doesn't come in with, I've got to get milk, with that urgency. A general thought, if it comes in very bland, could just be that, a general thought. It could also be the higher intuition or a message from your soul. What happens is the more we start to pay attention to our thoughts, what feels like a message, what feels like intuition, the more we start to pay attention to those, the easier it becomes to recognize them. An intuitive thought, a message from your soul is always going to be positive. It doesn't mean the message itself is positive. So how can I put this so that makes sense? Because that didn't make sense at all, did it? So it will come in again with that factual part, but it won't have the entanglement of the emotion. It might come in and say somebody's going to die, if you're very intuitive in that direction, and it will be just this feeling, and you'll know it's right because your body will have a reaction. Okay, you'll have a tightening someplace or something will happen, and you'll start to recognize that. Intuition will keep coming back over and over and over again. Same thing with the message in the soul. If you don't get it, it's going to keep coming back. So you're not going to miss it out. It'll be there. Okay. General thoughts, sometimes you'll notice it causes worry, or creates worry, or is more of a worry or fear-based thought. So if you can start to see what kinds of thoughts are coming in. Now, let's say you have a thought that, let's just use this one because this was one of mine for years. You're going to write a book. Okay, so maybe you had a thought, I'm going to write a book. It just came in, passed out, and you thought, well, that's weird. Maybe I'll write a book someday. And you put it out of your mind. You're like, whatever. And then a year later, it comes through your head. You're going to write a book. And it keeps coming back. That means maybe you are going to write a book and you need to take some action toward it. So they will repeat. It's definitely a feeling that you will get. And I can't explain it exactly the feeling you're going to have because it's all different. So your body always responds in a certain way to things that are true. Okay, always. And you'll start to recognize that. I'll leave that there because I have a feeling I may come back to that, Jody. I'm just checking this. Let me I'm going to talk a little bit more about how to connect with your soul and get your soul's path. And I will continue to check your questions. So if you want to get clarity on who you truly are at the soul level, right? Because we do get a little mixed up. Like, who is my soul? Really? Who am I? Who am I really? And remember, it's always going to be positive at your soul level. So if somebody says you're a jerk, you're not a jerk because you're not that at the soul level. Okay, so what you want to do to start to consider who you are at the soul level is to think about what is unique about you. What is unique about you? So you might start with looking at your positive qualities. Are you kind, caring, persistent, empathetic, loving, peaceful? Are you creative? The positive qualities that go with you. Lots of times we discount them because we know they're there and we're like, oh, that's not that important, but they are. So if these are positive qualities, that is part of who you are. And it can be very hard for us to look at ourselves this way because of our old programming that told us we needed to be someone else, that told us we needed to meet other people's expectations by doing certain things. So we were trained not to look at ourselves positively. So if you get stuck here and you can't think of anything good about yourself, think about things that people who love you, what they would say about you. What would they say about you? You're a kind person, a caring person. Open your heart and your mind to the idea that you have all these beautiful positive qualities within you. When I do a soul reading, that's what I'm doing. I'm connecting with your positive qualities to tell you who you are at that level. And I'm only telling you a little piece of it today, but I'm telling you some of that because when we understand who we are at that soul level, we can start to create the most amazing life that we deserve to have. Lots of times we label ourselves, we identify ourselves with those labels. I'm a mother, I'm a teacher, I'm a friend, our job titles, those things. It's like when you meet somebody that's like, who are you? What do you do? And you talk about what you do for a living. And this can definitely be part of how you express your soul. So what you want to do is also look at your unique skills. Okay. So for example, if I look at myself, I love teaching. I have been a teacher since I don't even know when, 1980 or something, when I first started teaching violin lessons. So I have been a teacher forever. And so I'm a good teacher and I own that. I love teaching. Some people are good writers or good artists. And the soul frequently expresses itself with some form of creativity. So when you're thinking about what's unique about yourself, you want to think about that creativity as well. Lots of times the word creativity, everybody thinks, oh, I'm not good at anything. I can't draw, I can't paint. We think of the arts, it has to, I can't do music, I can't do this. But there are so many ways that we are creative. And every single person has something they are creative with. Every single person. We could be creative thinkers. We could be creative and skilled with home decorating. We could be creative with building or designing buildings or designing software programs for that matter, right? We could be creative in how we communicate. There is so many different ways that we are creative. So when you're thinking about your soul and who you are at that soul level, think about your qualities, your positive qualities, these labels that you might have, because within those labels, you might discover some of those skills, those unique skills that only you have. And these will help you see that you are, in some areas, or maybe all, but some areas of your life, you're definitely living as your soul. Isn't that cool to know that you're already doing it? You're already doing this. When we think related to the soul, we so frequently think of our purpose. As humans, we think that we have to have this big, gigantic purpose, and usually in our minds, it's an external purpose. It's something outside of ourselves that has to do with saving the world. We think of our purpose, and if we only knew our purpose, we could get there. You might already be living your purpose and you don't even know it. When we're really on our path, or purpose, what this really means, our path and purpose, is living in alignment with our soul. And we might express it by saving the world. Maybe we will, right? Or we might express it by showing kindness to others and creating that ripple effect I love to talk about, where one person affects another, and affects another. And that's powerful, particularly now during this consciousness shift. This is so powerful. It seems as though so many of us are waiting for the government or big groups to solve the problems, when the solution is from each of us, each one of us, one person at a time, choosing to live from our soul and positively impacting other people. That's what's going to change the world. It's not going to be a government somewhere. It's going to be each individual expressing love and light to other individuals. Isn't that amazing? Kind of responsibility too, right? But at the same time, it's not a big responsibility, because you can be kind to the person next to you. You can show compassion to someone. You can look somebody in the eyes and connect with them. This is living in alignment of our soul. When we do this, we're secure, we're confident, we're authentic, we're being ourselves. And when we're doing this, we have more peace and more joy. We have more intuition. The more we understand ourselves, the intuition comes out. So I'm going to check some of your comments and give a couple more readings. And then I'm going to talk about how to open the channel even further to get the messages from your soul. And also we'll talk about feeding your soul. That sounds like we're going to feed a dragon or something, but we're not. Okay, so let's see. Julie is back again. I would like to get started out there and live again. Just would like to know if that's what my soul wants, or does my soul want to transition? Thank you. Yes, I totally believe that too. The soul is perfect, whole, but in the human physical form, she feels a little disconnected. My little family environment is not well-being. Okay, so Julie, let's go to you now, honey. Yes. Okay. Within your soul is this sense of, it is interesting. Okay, I'm backtrack for a second, because you want to know what your soul wants, or does your soul want to transition? And I can tell you, no, your soul does not want to transition at this point. And the reason I can say that is because you asked the question. You would not ask that question if a part of your soul didn't want you to get out there and do some things and start living again. And here's the thing, your energy, your soul energy, and I'm seeing this beautiful, sometimes if you haven't watched me before, I get colors when I'm doing soul readings, but I am seeing this beautiful, and I want to call it a glistening silver light. To me, this means a soul spirit God connection, okay? That you actually have a very strong connection between your soul and the divine universal energy, that you have this connection. This connection has been what has been keeping you going. Okay, that you're still here, you're still living, you're trying, you really are trying to do your best here. And with this also is this beautiful green energy around you. Green to me has two meanings. One is healing energy, and it also is the color of the heart energy. Pink as well for the heart, but green for you today. So I have the green color for healing. I've got the silver color connecting to the divine universal energy. There is a yearning. I get a yearning is the word I want to use with you. A yearning from your soul to go and experience more joy, more peace, more gratitude. And gratitude is where all of this will start, where we are grateful for those little things in life, where we pay attention to the beauty around us, where we pay attention to the people around us, and we're there for them. And for you to get on that path, gratitude is going to be a great place to start. And I always tell people to write stuff down because, you might have a really rough day and you can't think of anything to be grateful for. And you can go back to that paper and go, oh, yes, of course. Here's a bunch of things I am grateful for. And also, are you highly intuitive? I think you are, because there is this sense of you knowing things, that you just know things. So the more you step into this joy and this peace, the greater your intuition is going to be. And I'm going to backtrack again for 2 seconds. What we want to do, in addition to the gratitude, is start to look for the moments of joy and start creating moments of joy. So you might start doing things that you wouldn't normally do. I always use the example of taking a knitting class. I don't know why, but that's the one I always use. Something you wouldn't normally necessarily do, maybe. Go take a class with some people and just do something different. It changes your brain when we do things differently, which makes it easier to find the moments of joy and also those moments of gratitude. You have a beautiful soul, Julie, and you have this amazing ability to connect with other people. And between the intuition, the healing energies that are coming in for you, but the love energies that are in you and your connection, how you can really help other people start to look at life a little differently. This doesn't mean force changes on them, etc., etc. It's by living in your light that will help the other people. Okay, Julie, that was an interesting little reading, wasn't it? Okay. Laura, I'm so sorry about your ex passing away. Perfectly understandable that you would not be sure how to feel, but my soul felt the sting of the news, but I'm not sure how to feel. You'll know how to feel as time goes on. The thing is, you loved him at one point, right? So of course your soul remembers that love that was there. So of course you're going to have some kind of an emotional reaction to this. I found out a little while ago that my high school boyfriend died, and I just was like shocked because he was younger than me. And I was really shocked and sad that that had happened, and that's okay, because if we move into that grief, that is a measure of how much we loved somebody. Even if we did split up, the love is still there. Our love never goes away. It's still there. Okay. Kristen, yes, I am in Lilydale. Woohoo, I'm back. Okay. I'm going to talk to Cindy. Then I'm going to talk a little bit about how to open the channel for your soul. And then I'll keep going. I'll just keep talking as much as I can for you guys. So Cindy, she says she's feeling very lost and defeated right now. And first, I have to tell you, Cindy, you are not alone on that. I am in some ways astounded by how many people are telling me that they are lost, feeling lost. They don't know what to do, what's next. They're feeling defeated. That's part of the reason why I do the Reimagine Your Life in-person retreat in June, was to help people clear their energy so they could start moving forward and get out of that energy of being lost or defeated. So Cindy, you also have a very beautiful energy, and I don't normally see red for soul, and red is my favorite color. So I am seeing red for you. And no, I know a lot of people have different meanings for the color red. For me, it means vibrancy. It means energy. And so I see this energy within you, and I know that there was this time where you were that way. And I see your enthusiasm, and I see your passion, and I see your desire to live fully. And that has not gone. That is still there. Okay. Life again, situations, man. Whew, we got some good ones happening these days. There's lots going on out there. So of course our energy is going to get a little bit drained. For you, I want to get those energies stronger within you, the ones I mentioned earlier, the passion, the enthusiasm, the vibrancy. I want to get them stronger. And so for you, what I would recommend is okay, my hands are tingling. When my hands tingle, I know I want to talk about healing work. And I don't know if you do any healing work, Cindy, but I want to give healing work to you. And with that, what I'd like is the color red, for you to meditate on the color red. Not too much though, because it could be too much for you. So just a little bit of that, like 4 minutes or something. Okay, so that's one thing I'd like you to do. And this is to raise your energy back up. Okay, the other thing is what I'm doing. I want to do this. Okay, when I do this, this is raising the energy. I want to do this, bringing the energy up through my body, and it's also getting rid of things I no longer need. So I bring in the good energy and I give out the ucky energy, and I do this as I'm going like that. Okay, now part of the problem with feeling lost and defeated, and this applies to everybody and anybody who is like this, is we get caught in our heads. We're stuck up here. Okay, so we have to break that pattern. We have to break being stuck in our heads. Energy work can help you with this. So we can have her meditating on the red. We can do these things as well. We can also, every single time we get caught in our heads, we get stuck in there, break the pattern by saying something that is empowering and intention. You know how much I love intentions. So I am, rather than lost and defeated, I am. What word would it be that would get you back into that flow of vibrant, passionate, energetic, enthusiastic? I like enthusiastic. So you could break that with I am enthusiastic. I know it doesn't feel true. I know it's not true. But if you do this, what happens? And then you pretend. You imagine what it would feel like if you were enthusiastic, like you're enjoying your life, right? Because we want to enjoy our lives. So those words, how would you feel when you say this? I am enthusiastic. You feel what it would feel like to the best of your abilities. And every time you get caught up there, you stop and you go, I'm not going there. I'm going to do this instead. So you can break that cycle. So you can use the power of your words, and you can use energy to help change that. You have a beautiful soul, Cindy. It is one that is just, I just feel such good energy from it. Like I feel energized. So I know it's in there still, and it will come back. I know it will. Don't let other people get you down, or even the situations. Don't let them do it the best you can. Okay, now let's talk. Hi, Sam. Nice to see you. Let's talk a little bit about how to open the channel to hear the messages from the soul. And that way, and then I can get back and talk to you guys some more. So when we get the messages from the soul, they can be subtle, let that passing thought thing. They can be loud, like it's just boom, there it is. And you just know it's true. They can be repetitive. As I said, the messages from the soul are the same as intuition. They're the same thing. Okay, whether we're getting it from spirit guides, angels, whatever, it's all coming through our soul, because our soul is a part of that energy. So it will come in with that factual way. To open the channel, there are some things to consider that you can try. One is to be in stillness, whether it's a meditation, whether you're immersed in a project, you're in that creative flow or something. That will help you hear the messages from your soul. Because when you're totally focused on something in that flow, all of a sudden a thought just might pop right in there. When you're in nature, so that's the stillness. You can be the stillness in nature right before you go to sleep or right before you wake up. Sometimes we're in that special state in our brain where the messages can come in. We also, in stillness, in our dreams, can get messages from our soul there. I had a very vivid dream the other night, and I don't remember all my dreams. It's just certain ones that they want me to remember. And this was very vivid and gave me a lot to think about in terms of some projects and stuff like that, and really help. So we'll see. So stillness can help you hear the messages of the soul. As humans, what do? We run around like crazy people all the time, right? We go from one project to the next, and we don't have time to breathe and sit in the stillness. So we want to breathe in the stillness. That is going to help. Even if it's a minute, 3 or 4 times a day, you would be shocked and surprised at how 3 minutes out of your day of being still and breathing can change how you feel. I'm telling you, it really works. And I know this from somebody who's always rushing around. Okay, another way to open the channel to hear those messages from your soul is to know who you are. Who are you? And by that I mean, are you living the life you want to be living? Are you being the kind person you want to be? Do you know that you always get stuck in your head? Okay, you can know that and you can break that pattern, but you know who you are. You know what's happening around you and how you respond to things. You know what triggers you. Those kinds of things. You start to understand how you're living, what you believe to be true. You can also, messages from your soul, the signs. We talked about this a few weeks ago. Look for the signs, the synchronicities where something just happens and it's perfect. Or you see the repeated numbers or our animals all the time. So we have talked about this already, so I'm not going to go into it, but there are signs all over the place that you're on the right path. You may have visions, daydreaming, and all of a sudden you see something. Okay, that could be a vision, and it could have a message within that. You want to listen to your body and its messages. The body always gives us messages where we hold our tenseness. I'm sure that's a word. When something is important to us, if it's right for us, if it's good for us, our body, our energy becomes more open and expansive. If it's not good for us, lots of times our body does this and we constrict. You get that pit in your stomach. When something happens, or you just get this idea and all of a sudden it's true and you got that pit in your stomach. Those are all body messages. The more aware you become of your body, the easier it becomes to distinguish between nothing and a message. Because you go, wait a minute, I remember this feeling the last time I had this intuitive hit, or I remember this the last time something bad happened and I had this heads up that it was going to happen. I got that message. So pay attention. You want to notice when you're in the flow. And the flow for me is like a creative flow, or life seems to be going well. So you pay attention to when you're in the flow so you can recognize what it feels like energetically and in your body and your mind. Another thing that can help you hear the messages is to have faith and trust that your soul is always guiding you. Your soul is always guiding you. We just don't pay attention. Our minds are just busy. We don't pay attention. But our soul is always guiding us. It really is. So if we stop, just take a pause and listen and feel, just take a second in that stillness, you'll strengthen your faith and trust that the soul is guiding you. Even if you just decide, I'm going to decide that my soul is guiding me, that might be enough for you to really move into that energy. Before you make a decision, to get a message from the soul, before you make a decision, check in with yourself. Put your hand on your heart, breathe, and feel the answer. Here's the key. Feel the answer. The soul is a feeling thing. It is not a thinking thing. Okay? So if you get caught in thoughts that go round and round and round, they're just, wow, how it gets up there. I call it crazy brain. You know how it gets up there. Okay? You got to break the pattern. Stop, hand on the heart, check in with yourself, and feel. The soul feels. And then see. If you're a big thinker, it can be hard to move into feeling. I was a big thinker. And then I did a lot of work on learning to be a healer and doing readings and stuff. So I became a feeler now. And it's easier for me to feel if it's right or if it's wrong. Okay? So that helps. Another thing is just be patient. Humans, we want our answer right now and we want it now. Right now. We don't want to wait. We want it now. Be patient. The answer always comes. It always comes. It might be immediate. It might be when you're in the middle of cleaning the toilet. It might be when you're driving. It might be in the middle of a meditation where you're not even focused on this at all. It will come. Be patient and expect it. Another thing you can do to help you get the messages from the soul is writing. And writing is a big one for me, but you can easily just start writing things down. You're like a brain dump. Okay. You just dump it out there and see where you end up. Okay. And that can help you get some messages that way too. So it's like inspirational writing. You might get messages right coming through. Now, the other thing, so those are some ideas to help you hear and connect with the messages of your soul. Now, like I was talking about earlier, this process that Spirit gave me to help people release blocks, obstacles, the pain of the past, guilt. I could not believe it when Spirit gave this to me. And it's going to use all sorts of crystals and energetic processes. And so I'll be doing that at the Reimagine Your Life retreat for anybody who comes for that. And I'm sure I'll do it elsewhere in the future. But it's so interesting to me because I was not thinking it through. It came through. And it came with the energy and the feeling that I knew this was important. And the process itself is an energetic process. You know how it feels when somebody's standing too close to you, even if you before didn't even know about energy. You feel it. Okay? It's the same kind of thing. One of our biggest ways to connect with people and our soul is the energetic connection, our vibrations that go out toward other people, the vibration that we feel within our soul. So energy is feeling, okay? It's a feeling. Always ask yourself, does this feel right or not? Don't pressure yourself. Just see what happens. Okay, now feeding your soul. We want to feed our soul. What does that mean, right? We want to do things that are good for us, good for our soul. An easy example of not good for our soul would be complaining. Complaining is not good for our soul. It's just dragging us down. It's getting us stuck in negativity, right? So why do it? It's a waste of our time. Okay, if we can fix something, change it. If we can't, move on, right? Okay, so we want to feed our energy. We want to reset that energy. And we can reset that energy by doing things you love and getting in that flow. So if you love gardening, go outside and garden. That's going to reset your energy and you're feeding your soul. Isn't that cool? So simple. I call it the reset button. You do something that you enjoy doing where you feel most like you. So when you do these things, you're feeding your soul. So the opposite here, don't do things that don't feed your soul. Okay, if you know it drains your energy, why are you doing it? I know somebody just said, but I have to do it. Do you? Maybe, maybe not. Now, maybe if you're in a job situation where you really can't leave at this point, but for whatever reasons. So what are you going to do to change that job so it feeds your soul instead of drains your soul? There are always choices. You can always shift something. It could be as simple as your perspective. Ooh, that was a tough one for me to say there. It could be just your perspective. Okay. When I was working as a teacher many years ago, it seems now, I got really tired. I've been doing this for a long time and I still had time to go before I was going to retire. So I had to change something there. So what I started doing was every Monday, I put an inspirational quote on the chalkboard and it was for my benefit, but the students would come into the room and we would start talking about whatever the quote was. That helped me have a stronger relationship with my students, and it also kept me in the right mindset I needed to be so I wasn't as exhausted. So something as simple as having an inspirational quote around you can help you if you are stuck at this point in a situation that you really can't get out of yet. Okay, so self-care, of course, is going to feed your soul. More kindness, love, gratitude, all of those things, nature and connecting with others. Okay, those are all going to help you feed your soul. You'll always know because it will make you feel good. It's easy. It makes you feel good, okay? You want to be able to trust your soul as much as possible. You want to be able to risk it to trust your soul. We have been taught to think things out. We're going to feel it instead. Okay, I am going to back and check in the comments. If you're just joining me, I'm Colleen Vander Zyden. I am a registered medium here in Lilydale. I'm also a certified intuitive life coach, and I'm a spiritual teacher. Yes, Kristen's saying I can feel and see the changes. There are so many changes happening around us, and this is why it is essential essential that each one of us do what we can to stay centered and grounded in our souls. It's the only way we're going to make it through, you guys. We have to do it this way. And that's why I keep talking about the soul, why we have the Soul Empowerment Online Community, why I do my Reimagine Your Life retreat, why I teach everything. It's all about helping people stay in their soul so that we can have the life we deserve and that we want. Because what we want to be joyful, right? We want to have peace. We want to be connected to people who love us, right? That's what we want. Life is supposed to be good. Life is supposed to be good. What about soul partnership? I met someone, but now I'm not sure what to think of the relationship. Mixed signals, or if you're doubting it, there's an issue there. That is, Lisa, there's an issue there. If you're getting mixed signals or your imagination, I can tell you if you are feeling, if it doesn't feel quite right, there's a message within that, and it's probably not quite right. Don't deny what you're feeling, so take your time. Take your time, keep feeling. Don't jump in. Sometimes we think, oh, I have a soul connection here, so I've got to marry this man, and it turns out maybe he murdered you in a previous life, and that's the only reason you have a soul connection, Or it could just be a soul connection where he's going to teach you something you need to learn, right? Okay. Kathy, I wake up every night between 3 and 4. Do you believe in numerology? I love numerology. I don't know a whole lot about it, but I love it. I've read the 11th. That path late in life. Yep. Every night. Have you guys noticed that a lot of you are waking up in the middle of the night between like 3 and 4, or you're having a horrible, horrible time sleeping? You sleep a little bit and then you're up. That's the end. That's part of the consciousness shift. Your body is adjusting to the new vibration. That's what's happening. I know it's frustrating because I'm experiencing it as well. I just assume I'm getting the amount of sleep I'm supposed to get. And so if it's only 3 hours, that's all I'm supposed to get, and it's fine. So you can do that. So that's part of the shift. So if you're experiencing that, that's what's happening. Okay, how do I listen to my soul? Okay, I talked a little bit about that. Yay. Okay, I got to backtrack if my thing took off on me again. Jody, I have so many notebooks full of inside of my mind. Me too. Yay, Jody. Good. Okay, I love a new notebook. Pizza. What's pizza? How do you disconnect after automatically connecting with people's energy? How do you save some for yourself? Okay, so Jody, you're obviously an empath, and I bet that most of the people who are watching tonight are empaths as well. Okay, I am teaching an empath workshop this summer in Lilydale. I can't remember the day, but it's a Sunday morning. That's all I know. Something like July 23rd. I'm going to talk about empath survival skills. So if you are an empath, what happens, right, is our energies connect with other people automatically most of the time. We don't even know we're doing it until we finally figure out we're an empath, okay? You're an empath if you walk into a very crowded place and you go, man, I got to get out of here. It's too much, okay? Or the sounds are too much. That's an empath. You're walking down the street and all of a sudden you're in a bad mood because you walk next to somebody who is in a bad mood. Somebody in your family is homesick or they're sad and they live someplace else, but you feel sad and you don't know why. And then you find out later they're sad and you were picking up on their energy. So what we want to do is be intentional about how we use our energy. Do we want to have it all out there for everybody, right? There are strategies we can use to protect our energy. One is setting that intention in the morning. This is my space, basically. Say something more eloquent than that. This is my space. The only energy that comes in it is the energy of love and light. That's a simple one, set my intention that this is my energy and I'm only accepting this. I don't do the one that you'll hear some people say that sends the negative energy back to the people. Why would we do that? That's not very nice. Just because they send it to us doesn't mean we need to give it back to them. So we just diffuse that energy. So you can set your intention. That helps a lot. That the energy around you is only yours and it's only of love and light. And that's the only energy you're allowing into your energetic field. So if you have if you set these things up, you won't automatically connect with people. As an empath, it's a wonderful thing being an empath because you have those sensitivities. You're able to help people. You know what they need. The problem with being an empath is we give too much, or we're not aware that we're allowing our energy to be drained. So the more aware we become of our energy, the easier it becomes to protect our energy and step back. Okay. If you see that you are you totally intertwined with somebody else's energy and you're like, man, I shouldn't have done that. This is craziness. You can easily just do one of those motions, that you're just getting your energy back in your own place and simply just saying you're going to take your energy back. Then you must go someplace away to replenish your energy. And you can do some of those things I talked about with feeding your soul. You could do those kinds of things and that will help. So you must be aware of your own energy so you know what your tolerance is. Where are your boundaries? You don't have to be there for everybody. We think we do, but we don't have to. And the old airplane thing, you got to put the oxygen on yourself first before you help everybody else. If you use up all your energy for other people and you don't have anything left for yourself, you're going to feel horrible and you're probably going to get sick. So we definitely want to make sure we're keeping tabs on our own energy. So disconnecting just is really by intention. Okay. Let's see. Going down C. I feel like I know people more than I know my real self. Oh, thanks. I got some more sparkles in my hair. My soul must have been hungry for connecting. That's why I joined the soul empowerment community. Yes, Mary. It is amazing. Even though we're online for pretty much everything, the connections, because they're energy. Okay, everything is energy. I can connect with you guys, all of you, right now, energetically, right? That's how I'm doing the soul readings. That's how I'm talking to you. That's how I know what you're thinking and feeling, because I can connect that way, because everything is energy. Think about that for a second. What energy are you putting out there? Okay, what energy are you allowing in your body? In your energetic field, what are you allowing in there? So being aware of that's going to help you connect with your soul. Okay, let's see. Connections are amazing. I'm looking for somebody. Okay, I got time, you guys. If you want a reading, write it in the comments. She did ask, what feeds my soul? Pizza. Oh, that's what you were doing. Sherry. Okay, let's talk to Sherry. Sherry says she's having weird dreams lately. I don't know what to think. Okay, part of it is the consciousness shift. Part of it is, remember, our dreams give us messages all of the time. Very simple dream interpretation, I will give you a very, very simple one, is that the things in your dream represent something about you or some aspect of yourself. Okay, so my dream the other day, I saw a like a fighter plane crashing. Okay, so I saw a fighter plane crashing. So I had to figure out what that meant. Okay, what did it symbolize? So if you're having weird dreams, make sure, Sherry, that you're writing them down. Definitely write them down. We think we're going to remember, we're not going to. So write them down. Write down the details, what you saw, what you felt, what you heard, how you felt. Okay, emotionally, write them all down. You may start to see a pattern. And here's the thing, if your soul is trying to give you a message through your dreams and you don't get it, your soul is going to send it to you again, whether through another dream or another message, or someone will say something and all of a sudden you'll go, oh, I know what that is now, and you'll get it. So don't worry, you're not going to not get it. Bad sentence, but you know what I mean. So write the stuff down as you're doing it. Again, we are in this interesting transition time, and the dreams people are having really are giving people messages. So definitely keep track of those. Amy, I have to stay connected with my ex-husband regarding our children. I stay positive, but he will not communicate. This is where I tell people something along the lines of, he is the way he is. You're not going to change him. You do your thing, let him do his thing. The problem would come here is if you have to talk about your children, which you do, right? And maybe you want to, maybe one of them needs more assistance or something, and you want to know his opinion, but he doesn't give it to you. So you have to do your best to make the decisions as best you can. And, who knows why he's not really communicating. But if it has to do with the kids, you do the best you can to communicate what needs to be communicated and see if you get answers back. It feels to me that you're the person who generally made most of the decisions anyway. And so we may be maintaining that. Don't let his lack of communication affect you. Okay. As long as it's not affecting the kids. Okay. Maybe that will give you some help. Spiritual guidance, Jake. I've been interested in and researched religions and other forms of spirituality since my late teens, early 20s. I felt like I had a spiritual awakening last October. I was on a spiritual kick for months, then I got burned out, confused, took a step back. What I'm doing, what I'm supposed to be doing. I've been interested in sound healing crystals. I just know I meant more than my day job. Sorry, that was me, not you. You wrote it correctly. So Jake, what is very cool when we have an awakening, a spiritual awakening, is that we do get that burst of energy. We have this enthusiasm, this eagerness to learn as much as we can about spirituality and explore whatever catches our interest, right? And lots of times we can go really deep. You know, we really go all into it and in our excitement, maybe do too many things. And this is not a bad thing. I think most of us have done this. And then you're saying you got burned out, confused, and took a step back, and you're wondering what you're supposed to be doing spiritually. Sound healing and crystals are both vibrational healing, forms of vibrational healing. And I think when I look at your soul here, Jake, I'm seeing this ability that you have. You have a very good ability to connect with people. You're very intuitive and empathic. And also you have that healing ability. Okay, so if you're interested in sound healing and crystals, you can definitely continue to explore it. What I always tell people when they want to know what their spiritual path is to just go with whatever catches your interest. You know, go there and see if it feels good. I did sound healing for a long time. I studied crystals for a long time, and I still like crystals. And I do different things with them, depending on what I'm teaching, etc. So that doesn't mean that's going to be all you ever do. There may be more and more. Okay. For you, I definitely do feel this sense of healing about you, and this doesn't necessarily mean you have to become a professional healer, but maybe you will. Or maybe you'll do something else that's related and is healing in some other way. We don't know quite yet. So there is that. Oh my goodness, I'm talking too fast. Though there is definitely very strong healing about you, and that kindness and that empathy and intuition is going to lead you to the right place. One more thing for you is to trust the process. When we awaken, we want to learn everything as fast as we can so we can get there. There is no there. We'll never get to there. Okay, unless we're talking about the other side, then we'll get there eventually. So we want to trust that it's a lifelong process, a lifelong adventure of discovering what is interesting to us on a spiritual level. There's always more and more and more for us to learn. And we have these fun topics to play with, healing and crystals, and those are fun topics. But there are other things too. So it's important for you to trust that you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing, and that you are moving in the right direction, even if your mind isn't quite clear yet. So trust is a big thing, and this is a huge thing that is coming out of the consciousness shift, learning to trust ourselves and trust the life path. So that may help. Okay, let's see what else we got in here. Just holler. Linda, I haven't seen you in forever. How are you? Okay, please reading if you feel a connection. Okay, Kim, let's go to Kim for a sec. Okay, Kim. Ooh, I like your energy. Man, are you doing too much? Because your energy actually reminds me of my energy, because I'm doing too much. And so, Kim, I get a lot of energy around you. I feel like you have your hand in lots of different things, and your soul, though, you like being busy. Yeah, join my club. So this feeling I'm loving with you is, I talked about somebody who had enthusiasm and passion. I feel that with you as well, Kim. You have this enthusiasm and passion. You love learning. You love experiencing new things. Part of this, feeling too busy. I just feel like you're in too many things, okay? And it's hard to decide what to do. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. What do you let go of? What do you keep? And so there's I feel a lot of connection with you that way. And your soul is, oh man, you are very spiritually inclined, aren't you? It's a beautiful, beautiful purple there for you. Just beautiful. And, Okay, good. And you like to work with people a lot. You like to help them a lot and guide them and lead them also. Um, it is interesting. I gotta check and see if you wrote anything about how busy you are. Yes. Okay, good. Because I'm like, man, if you're not, I'd be shocked. I don't want to give it to you if you don't already have it, of course. Yeah, it's amazing to me, Kim. I love your energy because so much of it feels like mine, I think, and just that busy and enjoying life. I call it that I'm living like 5 lifetimes at once, is what it feels like at times. So for you, Kim, taking care of your own health and prioritizing yourself is important. You can't think this one through, though, not for you. It has to come from above. It has to come through your spiritual connection from your soul. So you have to let it come to you. You are a beautiful, you're just so beautiful with how you do things, and you're a person that does give your all, and you're going to have to be, you probably already know this, but be careful about not giving too much. Like I mentioned to somebody else, you don't want to give too much because you will deplete your energy. So, and your energy is most important. You've got to do the things that feed your soul first, then the other people. That's good advice. Yeah, and that will really help. Okay, so keep that in mind. Yeah. Okay, keep that in mind. I'll leave that. So I saw somebody else said something. Okay, and I wanted to talk about this. It says, love with an accent, Miss Michelle. I don't know how to say it if it's different. I'm having a hard time feeling like I belong. And that caught my interest because so many people right now are struggling to feel like they belong. We're missing those connections with people. COVID kind of amplified all of this because we all had to go online. We didn't see people, blah, blah. And, we're getting back to normal-ish now. And so that's definitely aggravating. Okay, this sense of not belonging. Another part of feeling like we don't belong is that sometimes when we're on our soul's path, people around us don't get us. Okay, so that can be part of it. We might feel like we just don't fit. Okay, like maybe we're a misfit or we're an outlier or something like this, or even an outsider, and that's okay. Because we want to follow our own unique path. And the more we know ourselves, the easier it becomes feeling like we belong. But also, the more we connect with other people of like mind, then the more we feel like we belong. Okay, and we get that comfortable feeling. We've spent our whole lives, so many of us, sacrificing ourselves to feel like we belong, to meet others' expectations. We have done this for so long. So when it comes to living as our own true souls, our true selves, we don't even know what it is sometimes because we have been so concerned with how other people perceive us, that we're meeting their expectations. So we could belong in that sense. Now we want to belong at a higher level. We want to belong on a soul level. We want to belong with the connections to others. And again, that's why we created the Soul Empowerment Community. I'll talk about that more another time. Right now, the community is closed. We will reopen it in the fall, and then you can join. It's amazing. We do workshops and events every month, 2 of them a month. We've got all sorts of things happening in there, in-person events, lots of stuff happening. But I'll explain more of that later. You can read a little bit about it on my website. If you go to my website and look for the Soul Empowerment Community, you can see what it's about. And this is part of the reason why we started this community. So people who couldn't find their people where they felt like they could belong, now they have a community of people who love them. The community is the most amazing group of people I've ever met in my life. All these wonderful souls all together. And that is so much a part of you there. Love Miss Michelle. Because you are also that kind of person who wants to be your true, unique self. And maybe there have been times people haven't accepted you for that. But that's who you really want to be. And the more you accept yourself as who you truly are, the more you're going to feel like you belong, even in situations where maybe you go, I don't know if I really want to belong in this one, but you'll be comfortable enough to hold your own in it. And that's probably most important. Okay. Okay, that was an interesting little reading sort of kind of thing. Oh, thank you, Jody. You're so sweet. We do so much, don't we? Um, yes, Mary is talking about moving forward. Take the advice and trust. Yeah, it is amazing. Spirit always gives me guidance as to what I should be talking about and stuff, and it's wonderful how many people need things like this. Some ideas and if you've heard me say this before, pretty much everything I teach, I have had to learn. It took me a long time, and that's part of the reason why I wrote my book, this one, Courageously You, because it has strategies in there so you can be yourself. You can live as your true self. And I call that a shortcut, my book, a shortcut. And then, this is all stuff I've had to learn. And if I can help you have the shortcut, that just really is part of my path and my purpose is to help you feel that you are living in your soul with as much joy and meaning as possible. We need to have that meaningful life, don't we? The fun life. Trusting the path, trusting the process of life, even with the crappy parts where we go, why is this happening to me? I'm trusting it's there for some reason, okay? That doesn't mean I'm diminishing or dismissing the pain of something, okay? But we can always get something out of everything. It may not be pleasant, but we can get something out of it. So if we trust that we're going in the right direction, we trust that our soul is going to guide us, we will be guided. Okay? Sometimes we doubt ourselves, but it's okay. Then we just go, I'm going to trust that I'm doing the right thing, and we just get right back on track with that intention. And to mention again my retreat, the Reimagine Your Life retreat, if you guys are around June 2nd through 4th, though you do want to register earlier, early bird closes May 2nd. It's a lower price, of course. We are going to do so many wonderful things to help you reimagine your life so you can live authentically as your true self. And that energetic process I mentioned a couple of times, I'm just so excited about it because when I got the information in, it was really cool. And then more and more came in about it. So you're going to let go of some stuff. And what also happens there in the retreat, as well as in the community, is you make new friends because you're connecting with other people who are of like mind. You're connecting with people on a deeper level because people are vulnerable. They're willing to show their true selves and then find out they're actually being accepted for who they really are. How cool is that? This is what we need in life, isn't it? To know that we are accepted and loved for who we truly are, where we feel seen and heard. Seen and heard. And it's good. And it's good. And we are seen and heard to ourselves. We look at ourselves and we see ourselves and we love ourselves, the good and the shadows. We love all of it. Yes, Kim's saying even the painful paths, and we all have them, don't we? We all do. Yes, it is amazing. Thank you, Linda. I'm glad you love my book. Yes, learning to trust and rely on spirit more. They should teach this in schools. When I was a public school teacher, thank you, love Miss Michelle. You'll have to tell me how to say your first name if that is your first name. When I was a public school teacher, I actually had a group come every day after school, every Tuesday after school. I called it Personal Power. And it was like my own little club. And I taught them so many things. We did sound healing. We did intuitive games. We did spoon bending. We did all sorts of fun stuff. So I got to teach some of my students some of these things. I don't think eventually some parent complained and I had to stop, but I did it for years. And so we had a ball and teaching them all sorts of stuff like this. There's so much out there, isn't there? There's so much more to life than the physical. And that's what we're talking about here. Okay, let's see what else you got to say. And then, what time is it? Oh my goodness, I've talked too much again. Mary usually feels invisible. Some people would like to be able to do that, and it is possible to do. Well, and it is a protective thing too, Mary. But that's okay. You'll feel seen when you want to see. Want to see? Let go and let God. Yes, perfect message, Rodney. It is. And really, yes, spoon bending. Have you guys ever done spoon bending where you bend a spoon? That's fun. Maybe we should do that in our next in-person soul empowerment community event. That would be fun, just for something fun to do. That's fun. Mary says, invisible is her superpower. So anyway, if you want to check out my retreat, Reimagine Your Life in-person retreat, I still have spaces because everybody's waiting until the last minute. But the early bird deadline is May 2nd, and then you can register pretty much up until, but it'll cost a little bit more after the early bird, unless you're in the soul empowerment community. Yeah, Tony, you're so sweet. Teacher's pet in your class. I had the greatest students. See, I just attract wonderful people. That's why you're all here with me. I attract the most wonderful people. That's just the way it is. So how blessed am I that I get to know all of you guys? Which reminds me, and then I'll stop talking. If you guys come to Lilydale this summer and you see me about, somewhere, feel free to stop me and say hello. Tell me your name. I'm pretty good about remembering names when I see them written, but tell me your name and how you know me, and then I will talk to you, because wouldn't that be fun? I love to meet people from my radio show, and I look pretty much the same, though somebody last year told me I looked different, so I don't know. But anyway, if you do see me, say hello. I would love to meet you. Okay, I will stop talking. LilydaleAssembly.org, ColleenVanderZuyden.com, BeCourageouslyYou.com. Follow me on my page if you're not. Colleen Vander Zuyden, Medium and Intuitive Life Coach. Follow Lilydale. Lilydale Assembly Incorporated is the official Facebook page. And I have had a ball talking with you tonight. And I don't know what I'm talking about next week, but maybe I should just do this again, because I really love answering your questions and just talking to you. So maybe I'll just call it a free-for-all, and you can ask anything you want. How about that? That will be fun. Yes. So, oh, good. I get to see some of you this summer. Yay. Definitely see me. I usually work in the morning, and then I'm out and about, and I'm at the beach later in the day. So if you're at the beach, I'll see you there. I am speaking at the Church of the Living Spirit this Sunday morning, and doing mediumship too. I will be talking about the consciousness shift and the ripple effect. That is what we're going to do. So let's see. Somebody just, please talk about the soul and grieving next time. Okay, I'll write it down. Soul and grieving. I got it written down there, Patty. Yes. Okay, thank you so much for joining me, you guys. And I will see you next week, unless I see you Sunday. See you later. Bye.